Guys, we are here with Prada and Gucci. So we're going to go over a couple things in this video, really just kind of wrapping things up with their training, and I just wanted to go over a few things for you guys to remember when they come home. So what I really want to stress to you about them is it is very important to make sure you reinforce exactly what you want them to do using a language that they understand, which is going to be this pressure and release system now. It's not going to be just using the English language and verbal cues. That's going to be very difficult for them. Now, granted, excuse me, they are doing very well, even like outside, especially with like recalls and everything. Okay, bring them over the shade. Especially with like recalls and everything, even outside, they do great. I've been taking them out to go to the bathroom and run around and get some exercise. They love to run around and play. They do use the bathroom pretty often. They will both have accidents in their crate if you don't get them out often enough. As long as you get them out to potty several times a day, they'll be fine. If they have access to go outside, even better. They have no problem using the bathroom outside. Excuse me. They have no problem using the bathroom outside and everything. That's fine. So just be aware of that too. I like to make sure with their crates that they do a lot of positive association with their crates. You are going to need to use crates with them. It's inevitable. They are young dogs. Prada really likes to kind of get into things. Her big thing at my place was pulling down the leashes that I have hanging on the wall. She always likes to pull those down. And she always does it when I'm not in the kitchen too. So, and I block off like my kitchen and my living room area. So it's always when I'm not there, like I'm taking out another dog or something like that. But I don't leave them unattended. Even then, I have my husband popping in and paying attention to them and everything when I go outside or anything like that. But you really can't just like leave them be to just run around and do their thing in a big area. You need to make sure that they're contained in an area that they can't make mistakes. It's not about training your dog isn't about correcting things that they've done wrong. It's more about teaching your dog what you do expect from them. You're training them to do the correct thing. You're not training them for corrections, if that makes sense. We don't want to just continuously tell them, no, you're doing it wrong, no, you're doing it wrong, no, you're doing it wrong. We want to show them, hey, this is what I want you to do. Hey, this is what I want you to do. So if there's no garbage cans for them to knock over and go in, or there isn't, shoes laying around for them to pick up and run away with, you're setting them up, you're tempting them, and you're setting them up for failure by doing that. So set them up for success by doing watch and confine. They should be out in a monitored area where they can be, have free time to run around and play, but where they're being monitored so that everybody or at least one person knows what they're doing, so that you can stop behaviors before they progress or before they start. So like even for using the bathroom, if you find pee and poop in your house and you don't even know which dog did it, that's on you as a trainer and a handler that you weren't paying attention to them. You can't scald one dog for doing it, even if they've already done it. What you're going to do is if you correct them for using the bathroom in the crate after the fact, what you're really going to do is you're going to teach them to eat their poop, because they're going to try and get rid of it. So you don't really want to do that. If they go in their crate, you're best to just kind of clean it up and realize, I need to get them out sooner after they drink or they eat or whatever, earlier in the morning, whatever it may be. And then if they use the bathroom in the house, you can really only correct them if you catch them in the act of using the bathroom. If they are going in circles, or you catch them kind of like sniffing in one area, that's a good sign for you, to stomp your foot or say no, and then like get up and get them outside as quick as possible. Luckily, they're pretty fast. I recommend not picking them up. Having them walk outside on their own feet is best. I really don't even pick them up much. They're built puppies, so I don't really pick them up very, very often. But so yeah, that's what you want to do for potty training. It has to be watch and confine, and you have to catch them in the act of using the bathroom. Otherwise, you're really just going to teach them that poop is a bad thing in general. If you just get mad at them, they're going to start thinking just pooping is a bad thing or going pee is a bad thing. They're not going to associate it to the fact that it's because I was using the bathroom inside. But if you catch them in the act of doing that, then you can get the point across to them that, hey, it's because you were going to the bathroom inside, and then we stopped the act, we went outside, and you finished your business outside. So that's what you're going to want to do as far as that goes. Like I was saying, with watch and confine, make sure that they are being monitored so that they aren't having accidents, picking up items that aren't theirs. You really want to make sure you're reinforcing what you expect from them on a daily basis. So it really kind of depends on what your goals are for them. If working on making sure recalls is big for you, then practice that with long lines where you can make sure that 100% of the time when I say Prada, good girl, Gucci, good job, right? When I call them, that means come, right? That's really important. Another one that's really going to be big for you to reinforce, and that's going to be especially with Prada. Gucci's pretty good about not jumping. He still does jump here and there. Prada, she is part rabbit, I swear it. Just the way she runs, the way she hops, and all of that. She is she's a hoppy girl. So making sure, there's a couple things you can do. One, you can use their leashes and you can step on it like this so that Prada, so as soon as I try and pet Gucci, she tries to jump, right? So she wants to get the attention over Gucci. So what I do is I step on it so that when she jumps, she's going to get a correction. Right? Off, Prada, off. And then I'm using an off command. I'm not going to reward her anytime her feet or her paws leave the ground. That needs to stop right away. If her paws are on the ground, you want to go to her level. Okay, so you have to bend down to go to their level. If you're going to do this, she's going to try and jump up at you. I promise you. Jumping is a dog's quickest way to get your attention. Whether it's a positive or a negative, they are still getting your attention. Even if you're saying no, off, right? You're still paying attention to them, right? So even if it's a negative, they're still getting attention from you. So making sure that you use those leashes to really reinforce that you do not want her paws to leave the ground. Prada, Gucci, yes. Good. Off. So right there, see, she gets it off. And as soon as she does that, off, my tone changes a little bit. I say off, I'm pretty serious about it. And the petting's to off, Prada, off. So now you can see she goes into that sit position. She's realizing, oh yeah, she's just trying to remember with me. She also just got a correction right there. She tried to jump a little bit. She got an instant correction, which is great because that's what she really needs to understand. Even after being with me for 3 weeks and I never ever allow them to jump on me, she still just instinctively has to jump. It's just like what she wants to do. So really making sure that everybody is on the same page. If Prada's paws are off the ground, you cannot be reinforcing that behavior with petting unless you are totally fine with her jumping. If that's not a problem for you, then okay. But if everybody in the house is on the same page that we don't want Prada to jump, you have to reinforce the fact that you get zero attention from me when your paws are off the ground. She has to be calm. She has to be sitting. Good girl. Your tone is also going to make a big difference. If you're like, hello, sweetheart, you're a good girl. Yes, I knew. Right? Look at that. Immediately, they both jumped on me, right? Easy. If I go, good job. Off. Off. See the difference though? Just making sure that you're see, even there, like I saw that she was like, and she just like backed up and forth. She thought about jumping on me right there, right? But I immediately went, because I know ahead of time what she's thinking. So if I stop that behavior from progressing, and I reward her when she's in off, when she's in this off, good, good girl, off. And it's definitely a lot harder when she's with Gucci because she's trying to get the attention that Gucci's getting, which obviously makes it a lot more difficult. When she's by herself, it's a lot easier to maintain it. Like I said, keep a calm demeanor with them. The more excited you get, the more excited they're going to get. They're young, happy dogs. It's just kind of their instinct to want to jump. Let's see, I just want to think over real quick what else we want to go over. Like I said, practice recalls with them. Placing too, that's another one that I recommend, especially for right now when they first come home. I highly recommend practicing with one dog at a time placing. You need to do repetitions with them. It's not going to be this like they come home and you say place and those dogs don't leave that area until you say okay. Training really comes from your dogs respecting you as a handler. So if they have never had you tell them exactly what you expect from them on place, meaning I say place, it means go to the object, and you only come off when I say okay. Every other time they come off of that object before you say okay, you have to 100% of the time put them back on the object. If you don't, then you're teaching them you can leave this whenever you want to, which is not what we want to tell them. So what I highly recommend, I don't have my place board right here. What I highly recommend doing is practicing placing them, just saying place, okay, place, okay. Get a bunch of repetitions in with them, and so that they start to really understand with you, like they have with me, that when I say place, it means go on the object. When I say okay, it means you can get off of the object. Any other time, I use my spatial pressure and I use my okay to release them. That's really important. You have to remember you can also use your leashes. You don't have e-collar with them, so if you don't have a way to communicate with them with a language they understand, which is a pressure system, pressure on and pressure off, that is how they speak now. They don't speak English. They don't know anything that I'm talking about right now. They hear tones. They learn some words just because, again, it's tones and repetition and consistency. If I say sit every single time with an action of their butt hitting the ground, it becomes that tone means do this, right? But I could also teach them that banana means put your butt on the ground, right? So it doesn't really matter. They don't speak English. They don't understand what it means. They're just learning a cue to an action. So they really speak a lot better with this pressure and release system. So using a pop and release. The e-collar works in the same way that you're able to say, on and off, pressure on, pressure off, pressure on, pressure off. This works the same way where we use the leashes with just a pop. Oop, hold on, we're tangled. Come here, Prada. This works the same way where you're going to say pop, right? Pressure on, pressure off. So when they first come home, you have to use their leashes with them to practice these commands. They're not going to listen to you 100% of the time when they're off leash. And then you have zero way of backing yourself up as a handler to get consistency with them and show them I mean this every single time. If you do it off leash and you say place and they don't do it, or you say come and they don't do it, or you say sit and they don't do it, you are devaluing yourself as a handler, and you're showing them that they can do it whenever they feel like it. They don't speak English. They don't respect you yet because you haven't done enough repetitions with them for them to understand you're serious, that when you say it, you have to do it every time. And you don't have a way of talking to them without using these leashes yet. So using their leashes is really important when you're working on verbal commands and saying like this, like Prada, Gucci, yes, good job. right? So my cat's right there and they want to go play with the cat. But as soon as, if I didn't have that leash on them and I said their names, and if I had said come and they didn't do it, I'd have no way of backing myself up. So using your leashes is crucial. Doing homework with them when they come home is crucial. You have to make sure you put in the repetitions with them now that they understand what the commands mean for them to really respect you. Once you do that, and the more you do with them when they come home, the easier time you're going to have having off-leash reliable dogs. E-collar is simply used as a way to communicate with your dog when they're off leash. But if you put in the effort now and you show them that every single time I ask you to do something, I follow through with it, then they're going to just listen to you without having that. You're going to be able to start dropping the leashes, and then you're going to be able to start going to long lines. So like when you take them out with you on vacation, like you said, you guys want to be able to travel with them. I think they'll be fine, as long as they learn that they respect you guys as handlers. They'll be okay. They're smart, they're respectful, they listen when I tell them what to do. It's just that they're in a puppy phase still where they're learning what is okay and what isn't okay. So like I said, don't set them up for failure by letting them make these mistakes, and then telling them, no, you've done wrong. Set them up for success by putting them in areas where they're not going to make these mistakes. Take them for walks using the slip leads and doing pops and releases, and the red light and green light system, where red light is a full stop, green light is a loose leash, yellow light is a pop of the leash. That's going to be really important for you guys to practice with them. All of these things are going to be really important for you, Prada off, for you to practice with them. I know they're high energy, but the more mental stimulation that you give them on a daily basis, don't try and rely on physical exercise to wear them out. Granted, they're little dogs and they do wear out pretty easily, and of course be careful in the heat with them. I'm sure you are, but make sure that they get enough water and everything. That's another thing with water, though. They both love to drink water, so don't let them go overboard. You're going to have a harder time with potty training. What goes in must come out. Try and keep them on a schedule, and make sure as soon as you give them water, I recommend getting them out within the next few minutes after they finish drinking, because they pee pretty quickly after they go to after they have a drink. Yeah, Fred, you're just being so rude, Fred. So yeah, I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, I will edit it to add right here. But other than that, if you guys have any questions on anything, please let me know. If you need to do boarding or you need to do lessons with me or anything like that, they're always welcome, of course. Besides that, they've done a good job. Just make sure you keep up with your handling skills. Have 100% follow through. 100%, consistency and repetition is your obedient dog. So Prada, Gucci, good job. All right, guys, I hope that helps, and we will see you guys real soon. Bye, Mama.